Hello, this is Elaine with Antelope Beads, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a wrap bracelet using a simple 3-strand braid, and also how to incorporate some beads into that braid. We have a lot of different variations of this. This particular bracelet uses 2 different sizes of leather for the braid. This uses strictly the wax nylon cord. We've used a white and a gray. This is actually big enough to be an ankle bracelet. And this one uses some sea glass and wood with both leather and the wax nylon cord. Okay, so let's get started. For this bracelet, I'm going to do a 2-wrap bracelet. I'm going to use about 4 feet of wax nylon cord, a couple of feet of 2mm leather, and then I'm using an assortment of beads here. The key is that I want to make sure the holes are big enough to go through at least my thinner cord, and I'm not going to have any problem with that. So to get started, I will take my longer cord and fold it in half, and my shorter cord, and just a single thing. Now I would like to use the thicker leather for the loop for my button, so I'm going to go ahead and fold the leather over to form a loop at the top with the tail. I'll go ahead and just lay my folded nylon cord right on top of that. Just going to tie an overhand knot to get started. Okay. I just want to make sure my tail is long enough to let me do that knot. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and trim off the nylon cord, and I'm just going to adjust the size of my leather loop so I know my button will fit through there. It looks like I need to just tighten that knot up a little bit. Okay, there we go. Just going to take some time to make sure the knot is nice and smooth. And I will go ahead and finish this and get this out of the way when I finish the other end of the bracelet. So to start this, I will go ahead and put my loop into one of the clips on the Naughty Do-It-All board, and I can string. It's easier if you just start stringing a bunch of beads right off the bat. So I'm going to go ahead and just string beads on one end of my wax nylon cord, and you can use either one or both strands depending on how many beads you want on your piece. I'm going to go ahead and just string them on one strand, and I'm just going to pretty well do this randomly. If I find that my bead is not going through because this cord is waxed, I can just sort of rub my fingers on it and turn it into a self needle. There we go. Okay. And I can just string them in a 1, 2, 3 pattern, or really however I want. So we're going to just take a minute and string our beads on. Okay, so I've strung a sequence of beads on one of my lengths of wax nylon cord. I could have strung them on both lengths. I could have strung them on my leather, but I just chose to put them on one side. I am going to go ahead and just tie a little knot at the bottom of that cord so they don't fall off, and then we will start to braid. Okay, so this is just a simple braid like we've all used to braid hair with. So one side comes over, the other side comes over, one side comes over, the other side comes over, back and forth. And you notice that your ends start to get a little tangly here. So at any point I can just take one of my cords and just pull it out, and that gets me untangled and ready to braid again. So now I'm getting ready to put a bead in, and I'll just go ahead and slide a bead up here. This is the cord that will go over, so I'm just going to put it over and lock it in place over the strand that I just went over. I'll continue to braid. Okay, I'm on this side now. I can just add another bead, and I will Just let that sort of lock right in there until I can really get it locked in by putting that other strand of leather over. I can put the beads in every time I do a braid, or I can leave some just straight braided space. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. Let's go ahead and put another bead in. This is a big one. So I'll go ahead and just put him over the leather and then put that over, and again he's just locked right in there. So this is a pretty random process. You can put a lot of beads in, you can put relatively few beads in, and you notice when I'm using the thinner cord with the thicker leather, it almost looks like it's woven around the leather. That's a really nice look there. So I'll continue to braid until I get to the length I want. If I want a 2-wrap bracelet, I'll go to about 14 inches. If I want 3 wraps, I'll go to like 21 inches or so, and then I'll be ready to finish. And I can use my board to tell me when I get to that point. And now I'm ready to finish this bracelet. So I'll take it out of the hook, and I'm going to finish it pretty much like I did for the first side. I'm going to go ahead and tie an overhand knot. Okay. Start with all the strands. I'm not going to tighten it quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and put my button through the leather, up one hole and down the other. And then I'm going to put this back through my overhand knot. Go ahead and slide that down until I think it's pretty much where I want it to be. And then I'll just take a minute, and this does take a little bit of working to get it to tighten up the way you want it to. Okay. So, but I'll just be patient and pull each strand individually until this knot looks the way I want it to. Sometimes I have to actually pull up the loop from the top of the button to get it to tighten up right. Okay, and if I get too much of a loop, then I'll just pull it down from the other side. That looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish my ends. I'm going to use super new glue, and since I'm using wax nylon cord, I'll also use a lighter. On the knot end, I'll first of all cut my 2 pieces of nylon cord to about 3/16 of an inch, a little less than 1/4 of an inch. Go ahead and get everything else out of the way but the cord. Melt those ends and tap them right into the knot. And then for the leather, I will trim it off pretty well flush to the knot and apply some super new glue. About 1 drop should do it. There we go. Okay. And for the other end, I just really have the same 2 issues to deal with. I'll go ahead and cut the nylon cord. Use the lighter to melt them. Tap them into the knot. Okay. And trim off the leather tail. And apply some super new glue. Okay. Give that a minute to dry. Thank you so much for watching. Please visit us at antelopebeads.com for more videos and lots of design ideas.